Hello, everybody, and welcome to our very first statewide JMG Virtual Employer Engagement event. For those who don't know me, my name is Elizabeth Bernhard. I am the Partnership Engagement Manager with Youth Solutions, the statewide nonprofit overseeing the Jobs for Michigan's Graduates program, often called JMG, throughout the state. I couldn't be more pleased to welcome all of you here today. So I want to extend an especially warm welcome to our two guest speakers today, Dan Peet from the Manufacturing Growth Alliance and Gloria Ender, Chief Executive Officer of Freedom Finishing. And to you joining us as youth, I want you to know that this event was designed exclusively for you. At Youth Solutions and the JMG program, we are committed to ensuring that all Michigan youth are educated, employed, and career-bound. As such, we will help you explore as many career pathways as possible prior to receiving your high school diploma or GED. So in the weeks and months to come, you will be invited to attend many of these events featuring large employers and small employers, and employers from every single career cluster in the state of Michigan, as well as events such as this with colleges and universities, so you can be exposed to as many educational and career opportunities as possible long before you earn your high school diploma or GED. So with that, I would like to review the agenda. So Dan, if you could please move forward to the next slide. Thank you. So this event is formally scheduled to go until 1:45. After Dan Peet introduces Ms. Gloria Ender, there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions of Gloria about her career pathway, her profession, and her company. At the end of that, there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions. And then at the very end, from 1:45 to 2, there is an option for you to join us in a short breakout session so that you can personally chat with Gloria if you would like to do so. And that will be a time when you can personally be on camera and just engage a little bit more informally with Gloria. So at first, I have a few housekeeping items that I would like to review with you. The first, this session is being recorded so that we can save it on our website and upload it to the JAG Genius for later viewing. Our intention is that as many youth as possible throughout the state of Michigan have access to viewing this recording at a later date so that they too can gain access to this great conversation with Gloria and consider her career pathway and her profession. As we go through today's session, please populate the chat box with your questions. I will be reviewing these and asking these questions of Gloria at the end of the session. And again, as I shared earlier, if you still have questions after we are done, there will be an opportunity for you to join a short breakout session to chat more informally. All of you at this point in time, except for us as presenters, you are muted and you are off camera. So we are not able to see you at this point in time. There may be a few Jobs for Michigan's Graduates programs who join us later on camera during the Q&A session. But that, for now, everybody is muted and off camera. With that, I introduce Dan Peet.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Dan. I'm here representing the Manufacturing Growth Alliance, and it is my pleasure to introduce Gloria Ender as well. So she's the CEO of Freedom Finishing. If first we could jump to the next slide there. So MGA is a statewide manufacturers association that focuses on smaller manufacturers within the state of Michigan, and we're here to champion and serve and advocate for them. And these are the kind of companies that we would so love to see all sorts of Jobs for Michigan's Graduates youth joining someday. So we couldn't be more happy to be helping champion this. And believe it or not, all these companies, they are talking about you guys. They're really interested in you, and they want to know what would excite you so that you'd want to come work with them too. So next slide, please. And this is a little bit about Freedom Finishing. I know Gloria will go into much greater detail as well, but you can see their logo there in the bottom right part of this slide here. You'll see that they're located in Benton Harbor, Michigan, and you see the truck above it. That's because they send their products all around the country and maybe even all around the globe. That's a good question for Gloria later. And they do everything from shopping carts, like in that image, to antennas on vehicles and all sorts of things that you'd probably never see because they're inside of a machine. And you can see Gloria on the bottom left there, really telling all those guys how to get it done in their shop there. So with that, I'll turn it over.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. Yo me llamo Gloria Galindo Quiroga Corral de Ender. That's my real name. I was born in Mexico, moved here when I was 6, and I was a very shy little girl because I didn't know the language and had a lot of culture to learn. I was always wanted to be a teacher. So I went to LMC, and then I went to IU in South Bend, and I got my degree, and I taught for 5 years at Berrien Springs. I never expected to be in the profession I am today. I've never really taken the road less traveled because I guess I didn't know the difference for one, but I did follow my parents and work at Heinz Pickle Factory for a whole summer. And it was awful. Long hours, hard work, standing on vinegar, coming home and just wanted to crash. I lost lots of weight. I thought I'm never, ever going to work in a factory. Well, I learned that I could not work at a factory because I didn't like what they were doing to their employees, how they treated them. They seemed to not have compassion. I had cuts and burns and all sorts of things. And back then, they didn't care, I don't think, as much as we do now. But here I was, never wanting to work in a factory. Now I own one. We as me and my husband, he was a tool and die maker, and we saw the need for powder coating in 1988. So we spent every dime we had, and we started a small company in Sawyer. In 1992, of course, we had his dad as a silent partner, and that wasn't working out. So in 1992, we just left him with everything and started brand new again. You'll learn that we've started over more than anybody would want to start over. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. But I became president when we moved to Benton Harbor. And the reason we started that was because the automotive industry, we're trying to get work. That's what they wanted. They wanted minority-owned, and so we did that. I am minority-owned, women-owned, small business-owned, and also green. We have green certificate, and we also have a ISO, which is a quality. It's hard to get all these certificates. It just doesn't come in the mail. You really have to work for it. Right now, I am the president. I deal with the customers, tons and tons of phone calls. OSHA, ISO, quality audits. I pay taxes, lots of taxes. We have to repair machines and building, and it's everyday demands. It's not easy, but it is gratifying. A lot of stress, but in the end, you get what you want. You please the customer, and you have great employees. My company does e-coating and powder coating. E-coating is like a primer, and we do a lot of undercar automotive parts. The primer will stop it from rusting, and then the powder coating, which you probably see it on all metals, it's any color, and it's durable. I happen to have a couple parts. This is an antenna, and it goes on a lot of parts, a lot of different cars. This would be an antenna, but you can see the difference in the raw and the painted. Well, let me show you another part before I get to that. Oh, that's a wiper. I'm sorry. This is the antenna. I'm just learning English. But here you can see the raw part and then the coated part. So this is the antenna. The other was the wiper. These go on all sorts of cars, Nissan, Ford, Chrysler, GM. And we have the monopoly on this because there's a little tiny wire that runs through it. And we always thought it was for noise reduction, or excuse me. Yeah, because the cars used to go by really quick and you could hear them whiz by. And it's actually, sorry, I'm confusing you. That's what it's for. It's for noise reduction. Getting ahead of myself. These go on refrigerator doors. They open and close your refrigerator doors. And I have a raw one and a painted one. And like I said earlier, these are e-coated and powder coated because it goes under cars or on cars. But the refrigerator is just powder coated. If I were to take your outdoor furniture and it was metal and I painted it, I would e-coat it and powder coat it. It would last 30 to 60 years, depending on, of course, where you live. Like Alaska is not going to last as much, or anywhere near salt water. But we paint about 300,000 parts a day. That's a lot. We have a company culture or our identity, and it matters to me, and this is very important to me. We have a saying: we coat, which is we e-coat, we powder coat. We coat our customers with quality and service, because that means a lot to me. That's our statement. And what matters more for me, though, is that we grow with our employees. We support them and we stand by them, and they do the same for us. So that's a win-win situation. We're a family. Not the kind of family that spends time together all the time on holidays or doesn't want to spend time together on holidays, but we actually spend more time together than with our families because they work a lot of hours, and so do I. I give them birthday parties, holiday parties, personal days off if needed. I'm very close with them because they're a big part, an integral part of my business. Plus, we handle problems at work, their work, our work, my work, and their home. I'm very much into what they're all doing, their sons, daughters. I really care. I feel like they're dedicated and they're interested in what we're doing, their engagement. It helps me grow, it helps them grow, the company grow. We used to have 3 shifts, and the third shift always messed everything up. Second shift came up, or first and second shift came up to me and said, hey, let's drop third shift and just work 2. We'll work 2 12s, and we won't have errors. We won't have drug issues. We'll all be one family. So I did it. We've been doing this for 5 years. And sometimes they work Saturdays, but they're the ones who chose that, and I let them have it. And they're happy, and they get a lot of overtime. I think they value their jobs there because I'm there all the time. My managers, they're following my values, which is important to me, and I can't do it without the employees. And then they let me know. If a new employee comes in, they'll go, Gloria, he didn't lift a finger. Let go. Let him go. Let him go. So I do. I listen. I think with respect comes trust. And I trust they'll do the best for me as I will do the best for them. And it keeps us all united and strong. Good, strong communication skills are needed by everyone, from top to bottom. All managers, everyone has to communicate as much as they can. But I think that the employees, the main staff, by the way, there is 60 of us, but the main 50, they're the ones that see the parts, find the errors. They do what they can to get the best quality parts out there. And we rely on them. So that's another reason we got to treat them well. And I include them on my company goals and my plans so they feel valued. And they come up with really good ideas, except adding freedom finishing float to the Blossom Time Parade. I didn't do that one. But it gives them confidence that they appreciate that I'm listening. Our team is powerful. We complete the ISO and the OSHA audits together. There's racking issues. They come to me. This part didn't work because I think if you did this, it would help. And it does. Machine breaks down. They all go out there and start sweeping, and they don't just stand around. They want it back on, and you can tell they care. They understand their purpose and their role in our company because I ask, and throughout the year, especially when we do the employee reviews, I show them as much as possible that I care and I listen, except for the float for the Blossom Time Parade. I try to inspire the employees to work together and that we're one company, not 2 shifts. And I enjoy getting to know them. I've trained my managers as well to learn their cultures and mine, and so we're on the same level, not one company. They care that when things go out the door, that they're the best that they can be. And I do my best to show the employees that I care by keeping them safe, and I value them and I care for them. I've helped many with Dr. Bills, translated many documents. I've taken just one guy recently to the eye doctor. It wasn't because of Freedom Finishing, but he needed a translator, didn't have anyone, so I went with him. And he came in today, and look, my eye's doing better, thanks to you. And, I'm not saying I'm the best company or the best boss to work for. It's just that this is things you should look for in a company. If you want to grow with them, you want them to care about you. What do I look for prospective employees? Well, they got to be a good fit for our team. And like I said earlier, if my employees don't want them, I let them go. And then how long have they been at a previous job? Are they energetic? What's my first impression of them? And then I give them a tour before I hire them. And I see if they can keep up with me. If they can keep up with me, then they're going to be fast workers, right? Usually. What's the available positions at my company and the skills that you need? Well, we do mostly on-job training on most jobs. High school education is preferred, but we have rackers and packers. We have group leaders, forklift material handlers, shipping and receiving jobs. We have light assembly. We have all ages there, and I prefer they're 18 or older, but if you're really good, I will look you up, or we'll just pretend your date is a little earlier, your birthday. Anyway, we have managers and maintenance. Maintenance is very important because we have so many pumps, huge machinery, and motors and things fall apart, but we do on-job training. And if you want to try it, we're there to teach. Just come visit me. What do I love most about my work is keeping my work family happy and secure and maintaining a very safe environment for them. I love satisfying my customers because then they bring me more work and, they tell others of the work I'm doing for them. And I love being able to contribute to our community. That's very important to me. The most challenging about my work is when we as a team, we completely fail our customer or each other. We have to have our backs and we have to have our customers' backs to keep growing. I've had some barriers related to my gender. Because I'm a female in a factory, it's mostly male dominated. It's pretty tough, but I'm tough. My dad was a bounty hunter and he taught me how to be tough. So watch out. Also, I'm not taken seriously all the time, because they think I don't know what I'm talking about. And many times because my husband works there, they think he must be the owner or ask him all the questions and look directly at him when it should be a question to me. And another thing, I really can't take them golfing because they're much better at golfing than I am, but it seems like that's where all the guys get all the big deals, and I don't do that. So that's an issue, but once they get to know me, I think that they're okay with me being the president and the CEO. The one thing that I wish I knew when I was in high school was, well, first of all, I was very shy. I was one of those kids that walked with my head down. I know you're not going to believe this. And I would hold the lockers to walk down the hallway. I've changed. I would have loved to know that my life valued at that time, that I had many options, not just one. And my dream was to go to the Air Force, but my father did not let me. And at that time, I thought I failed my dream, but I didn't fail. I just fell into a different destiny. It may not be what I wanted, but I knew everything. I would tell myself, everything's just going to be fine. Just keep working hard and never give up and make the best out of every situation. And that's what I would tell myself going back to high school. Any words of encouragement, I will talk about later. Unless you want me to do it now, Dan.
Yeah, I think you can go, and then Elizabeth, are we going to pull some questions from the audience, or you and I can ask Gloria some questions too?
That's
okay, cool. Go ahead, Gloria.
Okay, thank you. Well, Dale Carnegie once said, do the hard jobs first. The easy jobs will take care of themselves. And there's so much true meaning in that. My road was not a smooth one, but I did it with dedication. In 1988, we started out and it was very slow. And I prayed a lot because we needed work. Well, we got work. And then 2001 came and we almost closed down due to 911 attack. We went from 38 people to 2. And in 2 weeks, we were going to shut down everything. And, well, like I said, I prayed. And on one day, we had a huge job for the powder line and a huge job for the e-coat line. And the e-coat line, I had just started in 2001 when 911 hit. It actually got delivered on that day. And we thought we were done because of all those bills. We lost our employees. We had friends that would come and help rack at night just to get something out the door. And then we started going again. We went from 38 people down to 2. And we started going again once we got those 2 big jobs for e-coat and powder. And we went to 75 people in 2 weeks. And Michigan Works was here at the time, and they helped me. They helped me. And that's why I talk about the community. You help the community, they're going to help you. But they helped me, and we were booming. And then 2006, the economy fell into recession. And again, we just made the right choices. We lost some work, but we gained some good. And now COVID. We went 8 weeks without any work. And we still paid every employee their 12 hours of work because they had to have food. They're our family. We couldn't let them down. And when we started up again, they all came and joined us again and helped. Because we're family. I work many hours, and it's stressful. And it's stressful that I may lose everything again. I've worked very hard. But having my faith and dedication got me through all the rough times. I'm grateful for the good and easy times. And those are there too. If your road is not what you want, stay there as long as you can. Do not be afraid of anything. Ask lots of questions. I know I did, especially to learn English. Have ambition to learn all you can so that when your road does change, you have that foundation and experience. Motivate yourself to stay focused and engage yourself in whatever you do. Learn from it. Experience will bring you more knowledge and better jobs. Volunteer in the community. I do. We have always given to the community. And I said before, it's given back to us. And be a part of it. Watch it grow. It changes every day. Engage yourself to be in the game and not in the sidelines. Although I was never good at basketball. I was too short. I learned when there is an issue, face it and forget about how did it happen, who did it, what happened. Just focus on a solution. And this could pertain to anything. Like I said, I'm not saying I'm the best boss or the best company, but I do care for my company, my employees, and my community. And you're welcome to come take a tour anytime, but remember, you gotta just keep up with me as I walk fast. Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. That was really fantastic. So for you as attendees, if you have any questions, please put them into the chat box so that we can speak them for you and ask them of Gloria. So Gloria, if you were to advise a young person in high school today, how can they figure out who they are? What's the most important advice you can give them to help them understand who they are and chart out a career pathway?
Well, you're still very young. But some things happen for a reason. And if you start out somewhere, that road's going to take you to a better place. Just keep on that pathway. Because no matter where you go, as long as you say, you do what I've said, is just keep going forward, asking questions and learning, you're going to get to a better road.
Great. And there is a comment that said, beautiful story. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, de nada. You're welcome.
And another question, how old do you have to be to do this?
Well, we start around 18, but we've been known to help students, even if they want one day to come in just to see how it is and see if that's for them. Also, if they're close to their birthdays, I stated, I'm okay with that, but we do so much on-job training that we're willing to do that for anyone, any age.
Great. And do you hire individuals who do not have Social Security numbers, maybe in Daca?
I have in the past, and I've tried to help them, and I speak Spanish and English, and I'll do the best I can. One of my sisters that lives in Holland, does that for a living, and she has helped me with that as well.
Great. What would you say the most rewarding thing is as an entrepreneur and the biggest challenge?
Satisfaction is the best reward. Satisfaction that I've gotten to where I did, working very hard, but also that my employees love it there. I have employees there about 28 years that they've been there, and there's about 10 of those, and then it fluctuates, but they seem to like it there, and that satisfies me that they're staying there so long, and satisfying my customers, because they're the ones that give us the work, but my employees are the ones who make it happen. I'm sorry, I forgot the other question. There was two.
Dan, do you remember what the other part was?
Sorry, my phone overheated there, so
oh no,
I bounced off, and now I'm back. I guess one that I'd be curious about, if you guys didn't already touch on it, if I was a young person finishing up high school, and maybe I wasn't very engaged with the schoolwork that was there, what types of skill sets do you see as most in demand, Gloria, that you can tell when someone's really got the knack for, they perform better in a production environment like you guys run?
Well, we start everybody out at the simpler jobs, and they actually grow on their own, because if they tackle that and learn real quick with their hands, it's mostly eye-hand coordination of putting parts on a rack or so. But it's really up to them in our industry. In my shop, is if they're willing to grow, it's there for them. We have moved up so many people, and that's what I do is move. I have an open position. I allow anyone to apply firsthand in my business so that they can move up there. And then if no one does, then I hire from the outside. So there's always room for improvement. And I think that goes for any business. If they see you working very hard and diligently, and you always show up, there's always room for you to grow.
Great. Yeah, what do you see? So I know you said, you have them walk with you. They work the plan. It's really hard for someone who's maybe not a part of that to understand, am I a good fit for that culture? What's some of your recommendations for, as a young person, how do they communicate their values to you as the employer too? So that you're both coming in with eyes wide open on what the opportunity is. What are some things you see maybe younger folks do that's a good thing?
Well, I'm out on the floor a lot, even in heels. I'm part of them. One time we came to the shop because most of everybody was gone, and I was out there in high heels and a suit racking. And they see that. They see that I'm out there with them. They see that I'm not just going to sit in my office and never come out. I'm not a huge company, but 60 isn't real small either. It's considered a small company, but that's a good number. And I'm not the only one that sees that. I have managers. We need a lot. If one of my employees says, I need a meeting with you, my door is open. I have this problem. Can you help me? And I do. I tend to help out I never said no. But my main group leaders and my manager and my husband, they all know that what we are about and the values, we all express it. It's not just me, but we're very helpful. And if somebody wants to learn, we'll let them. We had a guy that weighed about 250 pounds, and he didn't do much, but he was the nicest guy and everybody liked him. So we put him on a little more and more and more difficult things. Now he's at about 150. He's healthy. He loves his job. He wants to do more. He wants to learn more. And it's about the inside of a person that counts there. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, that's great. I'm just, I'm imagining I'm that young person, and I want to think, okay, maybe I'm not sure if I'm a good fit. How do I communicate that? And for you guys, it sounds like, being honest and forthcoming and communicating often and frequently. What are maybe some of the mistakes that you see younger workers doing in your business that you hope our Jobs for Michigan's graduates youth don't do? What are some of the common mistakes you see?
Well, we do have one new young guy, and we love him. He doesn't show up on time. He doesn't show up for work. And once I expressed that it's an assembly, without him, this is what happens. So, and another time, somebody didn't show. So I put him where it was a little heavier so he would see. And at the end of the day, I asked him, now do you realize why you need to be here on time and be here at work? I also have an absenteeism system, and as soon as they reach the first step, I'm out there verbally, I bring them in and I tell them what's going to happen the next time. It's just, if you're going to be part of a family, you're going to show up and you're going to respect the other ones by showing up. If you're going to be late or tardy, you need to tell your supervisor or your lead so we can all work together and shift people. It's just being respectful to everyone else around you, because it's not about you, it's about the family. You have to maintain that, and everybody's got to help each other.
That's great. Thanks.
Gloria, what should a young adult expect in terms of wage growth within their first 5 years while they are learning new skills?
Just at my facility or in general?
Well, if you could speak to your facility, and if you have any generalizations that you're familiar with, and or Dan, you as well with your work with the manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, the people that work there about 5 years, they one started just putting parts on a line. Then he went to material handler. We lost our shipping guy. He moved, and I posted it and I told everybody, and this guy doesn't drive forklift very well, but he wanted to do this. So we tried him out, and he's probably in his 6th year, and he found his niche, and he does a great job at it. Once in a while he drives fast, and I'll go like this, and oh, yes. But I think finding their niche is important. And if they do good at it, they're going to stay there as long as they want or continue growing.
I think, one thing I might add to that question, Elizabeth, that we see from other manufacturers is, a lot of times a particular job is only worth so much. So you have to make sure that you're developing your skill sets, and it's not that you're not worth that much, but maybe that function on the line, we can only afford to pay $12 an hour for that kind of thing. But when you get, and you're dealing with the maintenance on Gloria's machines or something like that, where your skill set has to be a lot higher, you have a little more technical knowledge. There's also, how much do I need to trust you? If you make a mistake, it's a lot bigger of a problem if you're supposed to be doing the maintenance on a machine and you break the whole machine and now no products can go out the door. There's a higher level of risk there than when you maybe mess up just one part that is going through the process on the machine and goes to a customer. So, if you're wondering, how do I get more money? Sometimes there is the ability to get a little bit more money doing the job that maybe you can. But kind of in Gloria's example, you might need to ask, hey, which jobs, if making a lot of money is important to you, which it's important to a lot of people, if that's one of the reasons you're there, well, it's okay to ask, hey, what kind of money could I expect to get if I'm the shipping manager versus the operations manager versus the, front desk person, whatever it is. If those jobs would excite you, that's a good thing. Always pick a job that'll excite you. But if it'll excite you and you can make more money at it and you can maybe have some good growth potential, or as Gloria is saying, especially in a smaller company, it's hard to have a really well-planned, you do this job for 3 years, then you get this one, then you get that one, then you get that one. That's really hard at a smaller company. So it's a bit of being prepared when the opportunity presents itself, like Gloria was saying earlier. Always be learning things, even when it's not your job and you're helping fill in loading the machine that time. Ask, why is it important that the part's going this way versus this way? Why is that important? Because then you'll start learning some of the function of the process. Maybe it's not important at all. And then you might go, Well, if it's not important at all, we could fit twice as many on this rack if we just go that way, and then maybe you have an aha moment and you all figure out how to get better throughput. So I'll always be curious, not in a way to shirk your duties, but in some ways, if you're seeking to be more efficient, sometimes that starts out looking like a laziness question. How come we got to do it this way? But if you're always asking that question, not to do less work, but to be more efficient, people love that kind of line of thinking. So, if you ask too many questions in school, that's actually kind of a good thing in the workplace, as long as you can translate it into being more productive.
Can I add to that, Dan?
Yeah, go for it, Gloria.
That was perfect. A good example, I have a girl named Maria. She's been with me 30 years. She started just as a racker on second shift. She hated second shift. But she said she would watch everything. And then she knew which racks went with what. And then she got moved up from just racking to quality. And then we had a first shift position. She moved into that. And she learned so much just by watching, asking questions. Now she's in this position about 5 years, but now she's my lead. She's my floor personnel. She's my main quality girl. She has learned English. She communicates well, but that's what she said. That's what she did. She watched, she waited, and she learned and asked many questions. And now she's telling anybody comes in new, even managers, she's training them because she's been there a long time, but because she learned.
That's great. Good example.
Yeah.
So this question is for both of you. Gloria and Dan, with your work with manufacturers across the state, what would you say are the 3 most important skills that a young person needs to have to be considered desirable by employers?
I guess I'll take a first stab, and Gloria, you translate it into reality for me, okay? So I think a lot of them, if you're talking technical skills, they want to see a lot of math. There's a lot of geometry goes into manufacturing. There's a lot of the terminology might be supply chain, and that's just sort of the idea of thinking you start with a raw product here, and you keep doing things to it, and you end up with the finished one here. And at each step in there, so some good systems thinking, and that can come in a lot of ways via your science classes or whatever, but they're definitely going to be math heavy. And those are just the technical skills. And actually you can teach most people any technical skills. What even Gloria was bringing up earlier, there may be, you used to call them soft skills and they got a lot of different names, but the facts are it's about, being a good, hardworking person and proving that you'll do the right thing, whether anyone's looking or not. There's a lot of more less quantifiable things that will make you a really good employee. And so getting great math scores, that can get you in the door and get the job. But keeping the job, if you're in Gloria's shop, if they don't lean in and help move a cart while they're walking and talking, right? That's not your culture there, Gloria, right? You guys work and nobody is above any job. You get your hands out of your pockets and you get dirty when you need to, right? You told me about that. So, I think showing a willingness and an interest, and those are things that maybe you can't quantify, but you can communicate when you interview, when you're doing your stories, when you're walking with Gloria, asking a lot of questions. When you have a quiet moment, are you just checking your phone and just waiting for more parts? Or are you making sure, hey, I know there's a broom over here I'm going to sweep up because there's, kind of a mess over here, whatever. So it's going to be kind of those, a mix of technical ones. But don't get me wrong, the technical ones might get you the job, but a lot of those more softer skills. Would you agree with that, Gloria?
Yes. And for me, the most important of the skills are communication. Because if you're not going to show up for work, communicate. If you see something going on that's wrong, communicate. If something works really well, communicate. Communicate and employee engagement. Engage yourself in it. Learn from it, like we said before, but engage yourself into your job. It may be a job that you're really not interested in, but then engage yourself to learn on the other one. What is that person doing? I can do that. I can make myself do that. Teach me. so that you can grow personally and the company can grow. But to me, I really appreciate when the employees communicate. It could be anything, especially like first aid. I have to report that. And if you don't report that to me and communicate that to me, I'm a failure. Because if OSHA comes in and something goes wrong, it's just, that is the main key. And I'm sure everyone can do that one.
Great, thank you. And we are approaching the end of our 45-minute time. There is a question. There's a young person who's very interested in your company, Gloria, but this young person is 14 years old. Is there a place for him or her potentially in your company?
Well, I'd have to say to come talk to me, because I would give the tour first, and if they can catch up with me. No, but it's not for everybody. It is hard work, and I would have a little bit of a difficult time with that because they do work 12-hour shifts. We do 2 12 hours and sometimes Saturdays, and I don't know if that would be for them. But I would be willing to speak to them, and we could go from there.
Great, wonderful. Well, Kelsey, if you would please put into the chat box the meeting link for the optional breakout session, where if you have further questions or you would like to be on camera and chat more informally with Gloria, you can join us right after we close. Again, it's optional, but we'll be there for about 15 minutes after we close. So Gloria, I want to thank you again. Thank you so very much for sharing yourself with us, your story. You're an inspiring powerhouse of a woman, and I know that you've inspired many young people here today. And so, Dan, thank you as well for inviting Gloria to participate as our very first statewide employer engagement speaker. And thank you both very much for your time. Gloria, is there anything you want to add to close out to the large group?
I would say start by volunteering in your community. That's a great place to start, no matter what age. And you never know. That pathway may lead you to something else, but getting to know your community is very important at any age.
Wonderful. Thank you. And again, so for those of you who would like to continue the conversation, if you look in the chat box, you'll see there that there is a link there. You can just click it and join us for a quick informal chat. Otherwise, thank you again so very much for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Thanks.
Gracias.